For almost 100 years, Circuit de Spa-Francochamps has been one of the most challenging circuits in the world. With its fast, twisty, and hilly circuit, this Belgian track has slowly become a fan and driver favorite. Tonight, the top racers in the QRS look to tame this 4.3-mile circuit. It's 60 minutes of multi-class racing from Spa, up next on the Global Sim Racing channel. Good evening, everyone. I'm Justin Prince, and welcome to the inaugural race of the Ashbury Motorsports Sports Car Challenge Series from Stepnot, Belgium. Along with me in the booth today is in the MX5 and SRF specialist Bill Soupson, along with the Skibby Man, Sean Ambrose, and our Supreme Director, Joe Peak. We're using cameras, as always, provided by the great Dougie Beard. Bill, as mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this course has been a long and storied history with its multiple course changes in between. It'll be interesting to see how this field of MX5s, Skip Barbers, and Spec Racer Fords fare for this tight course. Why don't you tell us a bit about Spa Soup?
When the aroma of chocolates mixes with engines exhaust, you're at one of two places, either standing behind a bus in Hershey, Pennsylvania, or at Spa. Designed in 1920 and laid out on public roads, the original course had 25 turns and was about 15 kilometers in length. All the way through World War II, it kept the reputation of being the fastest road circuit in Europe and had a nasty reputation for being dangerous. Finally, in 1981, safety concerns forced the track to be shortened. They cut out about half of it, and its layout now is about 7 kilometers, 4.3 miles with 20 turns, and it's a little safer. One of the things I particularly like about this place, usually I'm not a big fan of chicanes, but I think this chicane, the bus stop, is really strategically placed where you can see a lot of passing going into there, and actually there's enough room that it's an exciting drag to the start-finish line coming out of the bus stop. But to get a better idea of what this place is like, let's jump on board our little MX-5 and take a lap around this big track.
We like to apologize for the technical difficulties with the audio. Amjad Yaman was the one behind the wheel, while Joe Peak was the one supposed to be on the mic with your GSRC lap guide in the global Mazda MX-5s. Now, Sean, tonight, of course, kicks off the inaugural 12-round season for the SCCS. What are some of the must-know details for this series, Sean?
All right, well, I think you've got to know what vehicles we're in this evening and every week here on Saturday night on the Global SimRacing channel. It's going to be the Skip Barber Formula 2000, the Skippy, and it's going to be the Spec Racer Ford. Saw those at Circuit of the Americas just a couple weeks ago. Fun little machine. And the Mazda MX-5, the global Mazda MX-5, a fun car, a great endurance car. These races are going to be 45 minutes and 60 minutes this season. There are 3 60-minute races, I believe. This is the first of those 3. Now, there is a restricted fuel load on these cars. And for the 60-minute race, well, you're probably looking at 1 stop, maybe 2. So it depends on how much throttle you like to use out there. So we'll have to watch that. You don't get any fast repairs. So you've got to run what you brung, and you got to take care of it. Okay, now there isn't an incident cap, but your incidents go into a very, very secretive formula. It's actually not secretive. There's a table for it, but it's the MPI bonus points, okay? And that will affect the number of bonus points throughout the season that you're able to gain if you're someone who likes to drive with a lot of incidents. And interesting thing about Spa, a lot of places to pick up incident points. You're going to have to watch yourself. You're going to be a little careful out here today.
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to be careful with this kind of track with a lot of different traffic to manage. Just of note, by the way, the 2 other races for the 60 minutes taking place will be at Suzuka and Mount Panorama, as those will be for races in the late January and early March windows. Now, of course, you're going to have to manage a lot of traffic for today and a lot of different passes, of course. In your opinion, guys, what is the main passing areas we should watch for today here for Spa, and what are the danger areas?
I always like going down into the bus stop. I talked about it in a little bit of the track description. I think that's one of the greatest places to do it. Then down, of course, down the main straight down into, what is that corner called when you get down in there in that
in the Lacombe?
Yeah, off
the Camel Straight there in the Lacombe. Great passing opportunity there, Sue.
Yeah, honestly, one of the things they were talking about with these multi-class cars is how difficult it is to see the Skippy if you're in the MX-5 and you have a Skippy kind of tucked underneath your alongside your door there. Look for them to. You don't want any contact there, do you, Sean? Battle between the Skippy and the MX-5.
Yeah, boy. You really don't want any interclass contact. It may not bode very well for the Skippy, especially that open wheel machine. The SRF is a little bit more durable, but the Mazda, probably the beast of the 3. It could probably suffer the most amount of damage before having to relent. But listen, iRacing does what iRacing does, and what may seem like minor damage at times will still be a reason to throw that meatball flag. That meatball flag being the black flag with the orange meatball in the middle of it that says, no, you have to come in. You have to repair your car, because if you don't, well, we're going to disqualify you from the race. So we'll see. This is a really, really stout class of drivers here. I doubt very seriously we're going to see a lot of beating and banging today. Maybe we'll see some incidental contact guys, but I don't think it's going to be a Debo Derby. I'm going to be honest with you here. These cars, this combination, these are very evenly matched. The Skippy and the SRF and the Mazda, all within mere half a second to a second of each other. So it's going to be fun watching these 3 different classes out here compete head on today.
You know who would be really good as a Skippy driver, and I've always frowned upon letting her drive, but that is my 95-year-old mother-in-law, Mama Jean, because if you've ever seen her at a party, she's 95, very frail, but she manages to avoid getting bumped and knocked over by the crowd. She'd be great in one of these little fragile Skippies out here racing. She wouldn't get injured. Mama Jean, I hope you're watching. 95 a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's great. Well, Mama Jean, certainly a racing fan and has been one for some time. Great racing conditions today. Overcast, 66 degrees outside, 66 degrees on track, and it's not very windy, a little over 5 miles an hour.
Now, the way the scoring works, they are scored only against the cars in their class, and it is a ration scoring. So there are 6 MX-5s here today, and you might be thinking, well, that's good news for them because worst case scenario, you're going to get scored 6. That's not the way to do it in the quality racing Sim-dicate. It's always rationed. So the top driver is going to get 100 points. The driver who's last in class is going to get 25 points. And then the rest of those points are sprinkled out evenly. So there's no advantage to being in a big class or a small class. 100 for first, 25 for last, and everything else mixed up.
We're going to have to see how everything mixes out, as there was a lot of great points discussed, as you guys mentioned. 25 drivers all set to go for these 3 different classes for today as they finish up the drivers' meeting going on at this moment.
Oh, man. One of the longest driver meetings I've ever. They need to have an intermission. The drivers' meeting is just going on and on and on here.
And it's also just a note as well to everybody watching, there will be a 15-minute qualifying session, or 4 laps allowed for the qualifying session, as we're getting almost all set to go here for the qualifying session. The times, you guys mentioned the times were very close for these drivers. The fastest currently is from Daniil Manikinkov, who has a 2 minutes, 45 seconds lap time. And with those times, you have also mixed in some of the MX-5s mixed in along with some of these skippies, along with some of the top drivers for the Spec Racer Ford. So it's going to be a very competitive race, where we're discussing this a few moments ago. Some of these drivers could actually compete for the overall win with how balanced some of these drivers are.
Oh, some big I ratings out there, Sean. A lot of them are in the MX-5. A couple big names. 8,300 for Sonny Catch Me If You Canchin, and Marcello Pajan out there with a 7,100 I rating. Then how about you looking who I'm looking at there in car number 16? He's got a pretty good one too.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, it's the strength of field here today is 2,934, almost 3,000. We've only got how many cars were there again? 25. Yeah, that's pretty stout. A lot of hefty characters in this race. Some of the best. Danil Manenkov here, the Michigan driver, just under 7,000 in his I rating. David Gasper's back there, the Diaz driver. He's also just under 7,000. Marcelo Pajan.
Pajan, yes.
Pajan, I'm sorry, Pajan. I'm all right. Fellow countryman there from Italy. Just under 7,200. I mean, Soup, it's crazy. And that's goes back to what I was saying. I don't know how much beating and banging we're going to really see here on track today. I think you're going to have a pretty focused crowd trying to whip the tail off of the drivers around them. And this is going to be a battle of some, as I said a moment ago, some pretty evenly matched machines. You'll see here in qualifying the times. I won't be shocked if your top 10 is littered with all three classes.
We talked about qualifying 15 minutes, but it is lone qualifying, so they have the track all to themselves right now for 15 minutes. Everybody out there together, and when we pan from one car to another, it gives the impression that maybe more than one car out on the track, but no, they're all sharing the track in their own 25 little individual iRacing virtual universes.
Yeah, and as you see right now, different drivers on the track right now getting set and trying to wind up for the first qualifying laps. What do you think is going through the minds here of some of these drivers, especially with this being an inaugural race for a series in, as you mentioned, fairly balanced field? What do you think is going through the minds of some of these competitors for tonight?
Well, Sean, I gotta wonder.
Might be the one car that stands possibility of getting left behind, but you know what? There's 7 of those in their field. So 6 Mazdas? So they've got the numbers over the Mazdas. So we'll see. We'll see what the Spec Racer Ford can do today.
Took me a long time to figure out the best way to get out of a spin was actually to give it more gas. My natural inclination is, oh no, I'm spinning, got to go slower, lift off, and it just puts more weight to the front of the car. The front fights the left, rear gets looser and it comes around on you. My gosh, a fun car to drive.
There's a lot of things to go through the minds as you're seeing there with you guys going through the minds. For example, you see Jeffrey Gambro getting through his qualifying laps, of course, as well. But how important do you feel is track position, guys, of course? Because as you mentioned, there's a lot of things to take mindsets of for how the cars will be handling in the race. But the track position, I think, is something you have to think about as well, don't you think, Soup and Sean?
60 minutes, I feel a little bit better if we were doing a regular 45-minute race that we just got done here on the MX5 World Tour. Of course, that MX5 World Tour is sanctioned by the Quality Racing Sim-dicate, the same guys that are managing this. A lot of the rules are the same. Sean, I got to feel a little bit better qualifying. Not quite as important, a little smaller field than it normally would be in a big race with cars in a similar class.
You know what? This really, Soup, this is all going to be about surviving that first lap. It's a very big course for these small cars, and I think if you can get through the first lap, and I think it'll spread out a little bit and get down to some racing. 60 minutes, so it is a bit of an endurance race. You do have one, we think, you definitely have at least one, maybe two for a quick splash and dash. I think this is going to be a little bit more about strategy and focusing on keeping this car in the gray today. Maybe taking advantage of those bonus points we talked about. You know what? For as many spots as they are to get in trouble here at Spa and get those rack up those incident points, you know what? If you mind your P's and Q's, you can do this race without picking up any. This is very familiar track for a lot of drivers, Soup, and well, with the quality of driver in this field today, I think it wouldn't be impossible for several of them to go zero incidents over 60 minutes here.
Looking at the familiar old 59 car there of Sonny Kitchen in his familiar number. How about car counts here today, Sean? In my little group, I've got 6 MX5s. Looks like there's about 8 SRFs. And then a few more Skippies, huh?
Yeah, well, we got a dozen Skippies here today, and boy, I'll tell you what, Enzo Canta right now is he is leading the way with his first lap in the Skippy. That's a 2:46.4. Sonny Canton in his Mazda MX-5, a 2:46.42. So it's a 4.4 and a 4.2 is what separates Sonny and Enzo there, and Danil Menenkov just right behind in his Skippy there, 2:46.6. So Soup already, like I said, a couple of classes being represented here in the top 5 with their first laps in.
Justin Fast's SRF is down there in 21st position, David Gasper. I'm sorry, 10th position in car number 21.
Yeah, David Gasper, for example, was someone we were discussing as somebody to definitely watch for sure. So he's going to be somebody, I think, that will be up at the front for his splitting so far. You're seeing him on your screen right now, guys, for this qualifying time, as you mentioned, in the 2:48, trying to get around for his second lap. So basically, as mentioned, there is a lot of talent mixed through this field, guys. So it's going to be fun to see how things go here. But we're going to take a short commercial break as the drivers complete their second, third, and fourth laps. We'll get to your qualifying results in the last minutes of qualifying, I should say, in just a few moments here on the Global Sim Racing channel. And welcome back, everyone, to the GSRC for more coverage of today's action for the SCCS, as we had a nice roundtable discussion about everything to expect for today's race. Let's look at some of these qualifying times as we finish up with about a minute 30 seconds to go in qualifying. Right now, leading off on the qualifying boards, currently in first place, is Fahim Antonitis, followed by Daniil Manikov. Enzo Kanta is in third place right now in your standings, followed by Luke Whitten and Rob Adams. All of them, of course, in their own class in the Skip Barbers. Fastest car in the MX-5s is Dries Nice, while the fastest car in your SRS will be currently David Gaspers, who's mixed in with a couple hours from his class.
Yeah, and actually, Dries did put down a great lap, but it's actually Sonny Canchin at the top of the board there. It's in the MX-5s on his his second lap, turned to 246.2 right now to Dries is 246.3.
Oh, there's Canchin bumping up one spot. Canchin moves up now into outside of row 2. I love this mix between the Skippies and the MX-5s. Can't wait to see them race each other now. Look how closely they are matched in times.
Yeah, right now everybody getting all set to go in the final few seconds. Of course, a lot can shift around with this being the 4-lap qualifying sessions, as we're going to get set to go in just a few moments for the rolling start here for the inaugural race for this series. With that, we're going to go to your starting grid, and we're going to go 10 at a time, shall we? As starting on your overall poll for today's event is Fahim Antonitis, followed by Enzo Kanta. Luke Whitten starts off in third. Sonny Canchin is the fastest MX-5. He is fourth overall in times. Daniil Manikov is in fifth overall in times. Dries Nice and Michello Pegjon is starting off right behind them. Kane Lasky and Michael Wright start off in 8th and 9th. Rob Adams rounds out your top 10, Bill. Or Sean, whoever wants to go.
No, I got my last 5 all rehearsed.
Okay, all right.
Sean, you go for it.
We'll go with Richard Losper in the number 74, the familiar number 74 there in his MX-5. Will start 11th. Jared Irvine starting 12th today. David Gaspers, he's going to be the best SRF out there, and he's going to start 13th. Adam Broughton Grant starting 14th. Jeroen Ursum, our friend, starting there in 15th. Cameron Gridley starting 16th, 17th. Tim Seidel, Jason Perry in 18th today, and David Sanchez there in 19th. And C Love, yes, that's C Love, starting in 20th there in a number 64 SRF.
Brother is Feel. Ralph Eust in 21st position. Hidden the double duck spot is Jason Ruthenthal. Gary Wolbott in the 23rd spot. 24th, Jeffrey William Tell Gabel back there. And 25th, Angelo Ferrino. I'm going to get this one right because I'm going to have to say it a lot. Fiorino, that's it, exactly. Fiorino, yes.
Yeah, big grid of 25 drivers. And as you're seeing in your shots, it is a mixed rolling start, which is going to basically throw a little wrench into a bit of the strategy to start off this race. How do you think that changes things up to have now every class mixed up based on their qualifying times now?
I think those skippies have got to be a little careful going. It's all about surviving lap 1. In the MX-5s, notoriously you can do a little bumping and banging, Sean. We talked about it. Don't want to do any bumping and banging in those skippies.
Yeah, there's a few responsible MX-5 pilots up there, so we're gonna count on their good skill, Soup.
Well, it's not even so much the skill. Look as you get this. Look how small, how low those skippies are out there. It seems almost wrong. Like,
you know what, the MX-5
living together. I don't like it.
It does. It almost looks like a Sherman tank rolling next to a Jeep.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Pardon me there, because the green flag is now out here at Spa, and we're underway for the start of the Ashbury Motorsports Sports Car Challenge Series. As you see right there, the Skip Barbers getting a very strong start, immediately dashing by the top 4 in the Skip Barbers to move by the MX-5 of Sonny Ketchen as they go around into the first corners and entering towards their first S's. So we are now underway. As you see, a lot of traffic negotiations with the different classes to start off.
Antonitis got off to a great jump, and he's already under threat from Enzo Canta. As they head on up the Kemmel Straight down to Lacombe, Canta got a great run going here. Woo! Almost makes contact there.
Ooh, it didn't quite have Antonitis cleared yet when Canta came in front of him.
Yeah, and some close contact there, and they're getting close into this tight braking section as Canta will be able to gap out the space a little bit as he continues to lead off still on the opening laps. Everybody's starting to get to single file as the top 4 is all Skip Barbers. Dries Nice is the first car for the MX-5 so far, as it is just a absolutely great start and a perfect start. Of course, this is class racing, so while this start kind of mixes up the strategy in terms of the class racing, it is, of course, you got to focus on the classing. First right now in the MX-5's Dries Nice, first in the SRF's David Gaspers.
Just as important as the guy racing in 13th overall, Sean, is David Gaspers back. They're going to earn as much points for that position as will the overall winner.
Yes, he is. And, we just saw our first pass, Dries Nice in his MX-5 getting by a Skippy and using the power, the momentum of that car to pull it off. Dries still digging here, now trying to take a spot from Luke Whitten. MX-5 starting to gnash its teeth soup.
Boy, those overcast skies are going to help a little bit.
Yeah, cooler track and a bit more grip, so to speak, Soup.
Not sure who we're on board with here, as I can't see that. Maybe our director will tell me as we pan back, looking back. Oh, we're looking back at Dries Nice.
Yes, that is. Yeah, you can see the traffic right behind Dries Nice. Some of these MX-5s having to work by the Skip Barbers in terms of traffic right now. The top 3 for your Skip Barbers, I should say. Enzo Canta, Fahim Antoine once again, and Luke Whitten, as right now behind them is the top 3 for the MX-5s. Dries Nice, Sonny Ketchen, and Marcel Pajan.
Those MX-5s run nose to tail.
Pajan going inside here. Going inside on Ketchen. Careful, careful.
And then we're looking now. You can see that Skippy now racing 6th overall of Benyakov now. Let's see what he can do in the number 16 machine, trying to run down Ketchen. This will be fun. That big, I can't believe I'm going to say this. These words have never come out of my mouth at the same time. That big MX-5 punching a big hole. Look at the run, though, from Pajan.
Yeah, but he's got company out to the left there.
Pajan gets 1, and Pajan gets 2. Is he going to suck along Benyakov with him? Nope, as they head down into Lacombe's right now. That gets sorted out. Meanwhile, is there a new leader in the SRFs? Have we lost that leader?
No, in fact, there is a new leader in, I believe.
Yes. Gaspers had some sort of a problem trying to figure it out now. Hang on. Give me a moment here, guys. Gaspers off it, though. David Sanchez up to the lead in the SRFs.
Yes, a bad situation for Gaspers, that's for sure, as we're going to get that information as quick as possible. There was a lead change, though, for the Skippies as well. Canta has fallen back to 2nd, as you're seeing on your screen right now.
Sean, I found him. I think it was internet. He just he's off with Amelia Earhart right now, and we're talking about Gasper.
That's it.
He just went away.
It did, and unfortunately, it is a throughput that has kicked him out of here. Boy, Gaspers was a real contender in that SRF with the other classes.
No drop races, so you're looking at 100 points for the win, now 25 for last. It's a tough way to start your season.
Yeah, it is definitely a tough way to start off your season, especially in the inaugural race for a series like this. as now you're seeing Richard Losper on your screen trying to work through some more of those skip barbers. Able to work onto the right side of the traffic right beside him. That is Michael S. Wright to his left side as he is on the outside corner here, going side by side, as this is very difficult to do, and just able to get in front. And look at this right, though. That is Losky, pardon me, getting loose there behind them, as there you see the MX-5s having to drive on by.
Sean, where was Lasky going?
I don't know. He went right, though. Went right into right. Went right through him.
You know, page 17 of the GSRC Commentator Handbook tells us try to find both sides of the story. I don't know. Just kind of drove up into him as if he wasn't there. You know what? There's some blinking going on from Lasky. Maybe that's it. Maybe he didn't see him. Yeah, if you look at Lasky right now on my screen, he's blinking in and out.
Well, Wright is going to stay out here and keep digging with a badly damaged Skippy, but he's still getting by cars. In fact, just getting by Jason Perry now. Battle for second there, Witten and Antonitis.
You're seeing that now on your screen. These are the skip barbers once again battling for position, as that is Kanta, Antonitis, as well as Witten still trading positions. Kanta's back in the lead. Antonitis moved back into second, as these drivers have all been trading spots. Of course, you still have a long ways away, and of course, pit stops to worry about eventually, as this is into 7 minutes into the inaugural race for this series. Of course, Kanta, if you watch a lot of our series here on GSRC, he finished on the podium earlier today in the Lotus 49s. So he has experience in multiple different cars, and you're seeing that experience pay off on the early going so far.
Do a commentator a solid. Maybe paint those cars a little different colors. For
yeah, Antonitis really getting a run at Kanta here. Can't quite pull it off, though. Kanta able to get back ahead. Antonitis lets off. Luke, Witten, Wright hot on their tail in that popcorn position. Antonitis gets a little loose there, a little wiggle out of the car.
And you can see there, the MX-5s are right behind them. Witten again wiggling on that exit of the corner, as he's going to lose some time. Luckily, he still has a bit of the draft and the drag. And you might be able to use Kenshin, for example, In Nice and Pajan, who are right behind them, to take himself back up to the rest of his Skip Barber compadres, as you're seeing this action unfolding right on your screen.
This is some good racing. I know you'd like to see stuff in the SRF. Really, those battles aren't that hot right now. We'll cover those in a minute. Let's stay on this for a little while longer.
Yeah, you can see the brake smoke with this tightness into these very tight chicanes cutting into the front stretch, for example, here. But I think that's going to set up a position battle, as you're seeing on your screen right about now. Nice and Bajan possibly going to go side by side into this tight chicane. They decide to go back to single file. As you see behind there, Dahil Manikov is going to Manikov working behind them as well in the skip barbers, so he might be able to volley himself back into the lead battle.
Yeah, Sean, let's stay on that 16. Let's see how many Manyakov can get here. And that Skippy as they go through Radion now, through a Rouge. Let's see what kind of run that open wheeler can get. Richard Losper giving us sorry. Not sure what's going on there. We're right on board with Manyakov. Not going to get there, I don't think.
No, I don't think so, Sue. Running out of straightaway here.
The Russian driver just does not have enough straightaway to get enough pull. And as you see, just did not get as strong of an exit as the MX-5 class right in front of him, as the Russian professor from Michigan, based in Michigan, continues to try and close up this gap to the rest of the field. As we're going to now go to what's going on with Richard Losper, as you're seeing him on your screen. As you see right now, he overtook Lasky once again. Lasky did have a little bit of issues before, just as we noted a few moments ago. Good to see he's back up and running once again.
Losper 4th in class, 9th overall. How about that, Director? I got it right that time. striker. Like, so when I get the overalls and class figured out, let's go, guys. We got to give a little love down here. Can we go to 13th overall, first in class? That is David, or actually 14th, David Sanchez. Now, Sean, I've noticed a dynamic of this format. Poor David Sanchez, who is the fastest of all the SRFs, he's having to deal with some of, I'm going to use this politely, some of the back markers, maybe these slower guys in the MX-5s and the Skippies. He's got to race with these guys that aren't usually used to, he's probably used to racing with guys that are more skilled. Boy, I'm going to get my, I'm trying to put it as politely as I can.
Stop. Just stop. Okay. All right. Here's what Sanchez is doing, though. He's able to keep Broughton Grant behind him. And making small gains on Irvine here. Now, if he can get in front of Irvine, he's got about 3 seconds to Jeroen Ursum there. He's got a little bit of cushion there to work with. He can focus on just driving the track. Right now, it's trying to stay in attack mode and defend mode. But he's got a lot going on there under the helmet. And focus, really important right now. Battle for the lead.
Good call once again. Enzo Canta is battling for the lead once again in the Skip Barbers. Meanwhile, Fahim Antonitis, once again, they have been trading spots since the drop of the green flag. Once again, switching spots again. Just constantly using the pull and the drag on the straightaways to be able to negotiate themselves into good positions.
Yeah, it's half racing, half dancing, I think, going on as we have Antonitis now going underneath Canta.
And one thing to note, another issue coming along in terms of connections, this time in the MX-5s. Dries Nice has just disconnected. So that is a big change going on for the MX-5 side. That puts Marcel Pajan in the lead for the MX-5s.
Amelia Earhart, David Gaspers, and now Dries Nice having a nice little party, Sean.
Yes, they are, Soup.
Well, Amelia brought enough beer.
Yeah. She had a pretty big plane. I think there was plenty on there. Boy, I'll tell you what, they've been a great battle up here at the front, these three, but it's Witten that's having the ride right now. He's just getting to watch and keep these guys at arm's length, and Witten having a great run back there in third.
Oh, and hold on 1 second. We got trouble with one of the Skippies, and that is Manikovov, as he is just spun out in front of some of the MX-5 leaders, and he's back up and running. Almost a big crash.
At that very same instant, the leader in the SRF also spun. So when we get the replay, we can go to all of those. I think it was, they are in different parts of the track, but it happened at the exact same time.
Yeah, looking at the replay now, Soup. Manekov has trouble. The car comes around. Man, just barely gets around that MX-5 there.
And they're at the exact same time. There's the leaders in the SRFs having his spin.
Sanchez there, David Sanchez finding trouble here. And that was all on his own. The car just broke loose on him. He's not able to gather it up.
Oh, come on, let me use this phrase. What you got there's a little lift throttle understeer, oversteer there.
Oversteer, right.
My one line and I blew it. All right.
Yeah, that was almost close to disaster, too, because you're seeing the new leader for the Skippies, Jason Perry, passing right on by him. He has now got an advantage of about 2.8 seconds because that's been Sanchez moving down to third. So that really shifted things around with this grid. And something I think just happened to Marcel Pajan as well, because he is dropping down the grid quickly as well. Sonny Kenshin has moved to the lead. In fact, it's those pit stops we were discussing.
Yeah, actually, Marcel spun it. Yeah, he had his own little trouble, actually.
Look for what happened to the Italian driver here.
He just gets on the curb and then gets caught over in a little bit of the dirt, and it spins the car.
I think it's like you might be playing Pokemon Go there.
Yeah, and you see it now, the spin. He goes around, goes a full 360, pulls it into the garage area. He's done for the day.
Kind of goofy-footed that spin. He kind of went in the other direction. You wouldn't think he would only turn that. So another one is done.
just shows some of the unpredictability for the competition with a balanced field where anything can happen. And you're seeing that right now in the SCCS's inaugural race so far. Looking at the battle for the lead still with the Skip Barbers, as that is Fahim. Once again, Fahim Antonitis currently in the lead, gapping out about a half a second over Enzo Canta. Luke Whitten still in third. Currently now leading the MX-5s is Sonny Kenshin. Meanwhile, that is about 5 seconds back of that battle you're seeing on your screen. Currently leading in the SRFs, Jason Perry.
Like to go back to 16th position right now, C Love. He's racing second in class. And the way things are going, he's in line to get the lead here because we've already lost Gaspers, and then we had the spin from our leader Sanchez. So right now it's Love in second behind Jason Perry. But Love's got his work cut out for him because coming back, there's a little buffer there of Jason Rosenthal in 17th. But here comes David Sanchez again, trying to make that up.
You can see that on your screen. Sanchez, of course, had that spin. And, of course, as our director put it, maybe he just loves fancy cigarettes and he's actually just C-Love. Clove.
See, there you go.
I am blind. And meanwhile, you see there Sanchez, he doesn't care about the clove. He wants to get the position back. As you see now, he is down to 1.6 seconds, zooming right on by one of the lap cars in Jason, and one of the skippies, I should say, in Jason Rosenthal's, pardon me.
Yeah, we really shouldn't make fun of C Love. He comes from a very poor family, could not afford an entire first name. The parents had to give all the kids initials.
Okay, I have no idea how to comment on that one. But just a note, Dries Knight is back on the track, even with the connection issue that he had recently had. He is back on the track a lap down.
Guys, battle for the lead here up front in the skippies. Canta trying to take it away from Antonitis. He's going to get him here on the straightaway, heading down to Lacombe.
And once again, using this draft on the straightaway, and Canta, my goodness, just absolutely pulling away. You see there's some very slight damage on the front wing of Antonitis, so maybe that's affecting the straightaway speed because that was a crazy amount of distance pulled away there entering Lacombe.
It really, really was. That was a Talladega-esque slingshot there up the Camel Straight, and Fahim just got left looking. There was nothing he could do. Right now, it's got Luke Whitten kind of caught behind him. I do believe that wing damage might have him a little bit off right now, and Whitten's going to have to look for an opportunity to pass here and try and keep Canta close. They can't let him. They can't let him get too far ahead here. He's already stretched it out to about 0.6.
And as you see on your screen, it's going already down to 0.5 of a second. And to this turn, you see here the tire squeals as well, as they cannot let Canta get away. That's for sure. If they want to contend for this win in terms of the Skippy class. As this is getting very interesting. Meanwhile, something just happened to your leader in the SRFs, Jason Perry. He just dropped out of the lead to Sanchez.
Perry makes a mistake, wraps the wall, gets some damage on the left side, and does allow Sanchez to get by. Sanchez back to the lead. C Love trying to take this second place spot away from Jason Perry now.
I think I just called that a little while ago. I didn't mean to jinx Jason Perry. I thought C Love was going to be able to hang on and get the lead, but Sanchez ran him down. So Chance is back out in front now, but this is a good battle now. In fact, remember, this is just as important as the guys that are the overall leaders. Nice little three-car train. Sanchez, Perry, and Love running 1, 2, 3 in class.
Yeah, and you're seeing the shot here from Jason Perry with the replay as he bounced off that wall. He's just driving right on by Sanchez. A great recovery from him, that's for sure, from a spin that lost him a 2.4 second lead. Now already back out in front as you're seeing live action once again with Sanchez still leading for his class. That's about a 1/10 of a second gap, though, as Jason Perry is going to slingshot his way to the left side. Tries to get to the outside, going towards the final bends and towards the front straightaway. And he is in the perfect line to get the pass. Jason Perry keeping it side by side with Sanchez. And now still driving down the straightaway. Perry still on the left side. Sanchez, though, faster down the straight. On the right side, moves in front of Perry as they will go into the tight hairpin turn. And Sanchez gets the better exit, pulls away, as they will now have to deal with a Skippy right in the middle of that battle.
Jason Rosenthal coming in there. Sean, Perry said, I've been listening to the broadcast, and Soup said, I'm supposed to be leading right now, so he wants to get that spot.
Yeah, you're seeing that still on your screen, as this is what we mentioned a bit with the negotiations in terms of traffic, and it is coming into play once again right here. Meanwhile, as we're going to go through the rest of your field so far, going back towards the front with the Skippies. For the lead Skippy, pardon me, you're still seeing that battle still progressing with these drivers. Jason Perry not letting him run away like it was the first time with Sanchez.
Hey, let's pick up a battle real quick between Richard Losper and Kane Lasky. Lasky's been behind Losper here for a little bit, and I don't think Richard's feeling much interested in giving up that spot. Kane looking for an opportunity to make a move on Losper here. He's definitely in the tow. I just wonder, could he pull something off here? Maybe out of Friere, down in the Blanchimont. Maybe he's got a chance here. Oh, battle for sixth. Just up in front of him here. Menenkov, and is that Adams?
Yes, that is Rob Adams you're seeing in the green and the yellow machine as they go side by side into the bends. Almost very close there as they continue to go side by side. Menenkov able to move himself into the top 5 overall, into 4th in his class with that pass.
Now keep in mind, let's stay on this a bit, and we'll take him through the bus stop. Watch here, there's not going to be able to make a pass here, but if you can get a good run out of the bus stop, the start-finish line is not until right there. So there's a long enough drive out of the bus stop to make a run and snake somebody for the final lap.
Yeah, and you can see Menenkov trying to keep that gap as well in that position, I should say. You see him getting a bit loose, in fact, off the exit. But it's starting to get towards where you're possibly thinking of pitting, because the fuel is estimated to last about 30 minutes for these cars, about give or take. But we are now at about 37 minutes to go. When do you decide to bring it on in if you're a driver?
For me, it's all about rhythm. If I feel comfortable, I'd like to stay out. We just talked to Sarah Dove earlier here, who ran the MX-5. She says, if I'm feeling good, I run it till it's dry. I hear you, Sarah. Some of these guys, though, like to come in. Errol Numb, who's really good in the Absolute Beginner League races, these Skippies, he's notorious for coming in early. A lot of times, Sean, it depends on if you think somebody is like a parasite and hang on to you. If you feel like he's really not as fast, come on in, take your pit stop, get away from him, and then run some hot laps by yourself.
Man, I think I'm going to maybe go 5 minutes past just to play it safe, but I'm splitting this race in half. I know I need one stop at this point. Well, I think I do.
We don't really know. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know where any of these guys really are on fuel right now. They may have to all come in right now. We'll see. But that window, the halfway point, just under 6 minutes now in front of us.
Getting information from this new series, kind of like I needed to use the Freedom of Information Act. Stuff was hard coming here. I think what happened originally, it was going to be a 90-minute race, and they shortened it to 60. So they're not really sure how the crew's going to play out.
You see on your screen, though, guys, as Antonitis lost a bit of time with the exit, bouncing a bit off of the rumble strips, as Enzo Canta's back in the lead, waiting for the first time in the race, is up to second, as he's in a good spot to try and get by Canta, zooming along down this course, going through turn number 18, approaching the chicanes, as they might be able to dive it in, approaching La Source. As they'll go through this bus stop section, Kansas still out in front. Able to get a nice exit, followed off Whitten, still right on behind them, trying to get as much toe as he can, matching line for line with Kanta. Now going into La Source, as you see, Kanta diving it in, still out in front, Whitten behind, and they'll go down that straightaway once again towards that bus stop section, as you mentioned, in the Radion Belle Rouge, as this is basically approaching that Camel Straight, where a lot of these passes have been taking place, especially with the skippies today. Antonitis, as you see, another moment where he got a little bit loose behind these leaders. As the battle for the lead, Luke Whitten looking to take the lead for the first time today for the skippy class, and now he has just got in front of Kanta. Able to get a nice pass, and he's going to set this up, and in fact, going to able to space itself a little bit, Sean.
I think that was Luke's plan all along. Wait until just before the pit stop, get to the front of this field. Really easy for me to say. Get to the front of this field and see what you can do. That's a good move there by Whitten. Got himself solid there in first for now. Going to go around one more time here, guys.
We're going to see a replay real quick here for Antonitis. As you seen, he had a little bit of trouble, and that trouble entailed going very wide, as you see in that corner, having to go a bit wide and lost a little bit of time. I think that damage he may or have on that front wing, on the left front wing, is starting to become a major factor with the handling of this car.
Well, we get away from that. We're going to have to pick up. We just had a big moment between Jason Perry and Sanchez on track. Sanchez gets a piece of him going into La Source. Both of those cars fall off the lead. See Love up to the lead in the SRFs.
Now, Perry had actually worked his way around Sanchez, and then those guys got together. C. Love is really moving now. They run in order: C. Love, Jason Perry, David Sanchez, and then somebody we really haven't talked much about, running 19th or 18th overall, I guess, is Angelo Fiorino.
And as you see the action unfolding with some of these replays on screen, Jason Perry, by the way, has moved himself back out into the front of his grouping as you're seeing this action unfold on your screen.
Sean, do you think iRacing, when they do the random weather, do you think it knows that it's at Spa and just decides to put every race I ever call it Spa under horrible skies? Is it a coincidence, or does it? I don't know if I've ever called a sunny race from Spa.
Yeah, I think it's a coincidence.
Okay. We're hearing from our director that they do take into account geographic location, realistic weather.
And I'm guessing because, of course, we're in December, this is realistic weather instead, and for the most part. Yeah, I think it's this always seems to rain at Belgium here at Spa. I like it. Do you know who else likes it? I'm hoping for Sean. You'll appreciate this one for the precipitation to become part of iRacing, and that is the Ben Laughter. You know why?
That's it, right.
Nothing better than laughter in the rain, baby.
That's right.
Okay.
Hey, Soup. We've got Kanchan and I'm sorry, Kanta took the lead. I was watching another battle between Losper and Kanchan right now, are mixing it up, and they've got the Skippy mixed in there with him. But I'm sorry, that threw me off there, guys.
Yeah, I don't want to get
following the wrong battle apparently.
I don't want to get too cavalier about these Skippy passes, but nothing's really going to matter here until we get closer to the end. What is important, though, we are getting to the halfway mark, and that's going to tell us if these guys can do it on one stop. I think pretty secure that we're looking at a one-stop race right now. I think Kanchan has actually slowed down, maybe tried to get back to where is Losper? Is Losper gone now?
Well, Losper is all the way back.
No, he's still right there with Kanchan. In fact,
well, no, but he's behind. Well, okay, Nice though is between him and now. Nice, of course, is a lap down.
Right, that's correct. Nice is a lap down, Soup.
And how about we go to your battle on screen for 11th overall, as that's Cameron Gritty and Michael S. Wright going for that battle. It's about a 0.4 of a second difference between these two drivers, as you're seeing on your screen. Their lap times are very similar as well. In fact, Wright had the faster lap time the last time around by 0.3. So just trying to hang on to that pole once again for these Skippies, as you're seeing this battle unfold on your screen. By the way, with the Skippies out in front, Kanta and Whitten again are battling for position, by the way. As they continue to gap it out on front once again, Kanta, I should say, able to work his way back out to the front. The gap is about 0.4 of a second, but they are getting very close here. Regardless, though, I think the real battle is going to eventually become those Skippies. With the SRFs, I should say.
C-Love comfortably out in front. He's got, oh my goodness, about 3 seconds back to Perry. Perry, though, in a much tougher battle there with Sanchez.
Yeah, those two have been battling for position really since basically both of them fell in the lead.
We got some pit stops happening, guys.
They crossed the halfway mark, and Sonny Catch Me If You Can has come in from the lead of the MX-5s.
So is Losper. Losper follows him in, and so does Drew Nursom. Just ahead of them, Rob Adams had come in. Was the first of the Skippy pilots to come in.
Jeroen Ursum, there he is. If you can get a close-up on that paint scheme, a little tribute to our GSRC partner here, Jake Sperry. That's My Little Jakey, it says on there, in beautiful pink colors. Racing third in class. Hey, Jeroen! Always looking to get a top 10. You got to get a podium here, buddy.
As you're mentioning that, C-Love also brought it in the leader for the SRFs, the Spec Racer Fords. Slowly bring it on by as you see a few hours. Jason Perry, Sanchez, everyone deciding to bring it on in. More cars behind them. Gary Woolbald, who we have not discussed much, in the Skippies behind them. Everybody essentially deciding, okay, this is the perfect time to come in just past that halfway point, making sure they can make it for just this one stop possibly.
Okay, and the front three Skippies now find themselves at Fagny and then to Paul Freire, and I'll tell you what, find themselves on the backside of this course now working around. Gotta wonder if they're setting up for this pit stop. They needed to. This probably would be a wise move.
Skippies apparently can go a lot longer, as none of the Skippies other than Rob Adams have come in. Makes it nice for our timing and scoring as we ride on board with Fahim. There we are.
Yeah, that's Fahim Antonitis in a good position to watch this battle. Luke Whitten and Enzo Kanta once again swapping positions. You mentioned the fuel runs. The MX-5s are limited to 35%. The Spec Racer Fords 43%. The Skip Barbers 62% for how much fuel they can have in the tank for the start. So that is going to be a big difference. And speaking of pit stops, take a look at that. Your top two coming right on in.
Yep. I had a feeling. My spidey senses were tingling.
But Beam's going to stay out. Get a little solo time. I bet you he thinks he's faster than these guys. And I don't blame him. He was the gridded first. He was the pole sitter. He qualified almost 0.4 of a second faster than the two guys he's been racing with. He's going to go out and run a hot lap right now. The fuel tank is empty. Put in a couple hot laps, and when it's all said and done, it'll be see you later, boy. I like your skater boy. He's going to be well out in front of the guys he was racing with. I like the strategy.
Menenkov is in, by the way. He just pulled in, coming down the lane now. Here comes Jared Irvine.
And Dre's nice as well, just in front of Irvine coming on in. Everybody bringing it in. Kane Lasky in for fuel. Cameron Gridley in for fuel. Michael S. Wright also in for fuel. So everybody reaching the point of near empty tanks.
Boy, Whitten got out quick, Soup. Sure hope he got enough fuel on that machine. He drops Kanta a good 2 seconds back.
Yeah, and that, to mention that, Sean, as well, that was about a 0.5 of a second difference between their pit stop times. That's how crucial the pit timing was essentially for Whitten to get that gap, guys.
But on our wonderful Joel real timing scoring system, there's a free plug for you, Joel. The actual cone-to-cone time was even more impressive between Whitten and Canton, almost a second and a half.
Yeah, that's an absolutely big difference in terms of pit stop strategy, guys, I think for sure. As Fahim Antonitis still has to probably come on in. Here's the thing, though. You see that damage slightly on that left front wing. Sometimes in iRacing, depending on the class, you do have a mandatory wing swap. Maybe that's the possibility of what he's thinking here, hoping he gaps enough distance in the delta to get that wing on in time, because that might be an extra 5-10 seconds. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I believe so. I'm not sure if the Skippy actually makes you do that. You might be able to ignore it on the Skippy. I know that our director's saying nope. If it's there, it's going to have to do it. No. Yeah. We're not.
Yeah, just wanting to double check that, because it is on some open wheel classes, as you know, may or may not know, I should say, where it does have that. In this case, it might not be mandatory, but we're going to see if he brings it on in, because this is about a 1 lap difference on fuel. Yes, he is bringing it in for fuel, as he's going to bring it on in, speeding up. Pit road speed is 35, as he gets 3 miles per hour slower than that speed. He's going to get it into his stall as quick as he can. Remember, the gap right now is about 36 seconds between him and Luke Whitten. Pit stops about 20 seconds for the front of the field.
Yeah, and Whitten's in Blanchimont now, coming down to the chicane. Whitten trying to work this out here, going to try and catch him. Got to get a good trip through here.
Antoniadis just pulling into his box right now.
Whitten has straightened her out on the straightaway across the line.
Antoniadis still sitting there as the lead cars move by. Whitten takes the lead in the Skippies. A 22.6 second stop, which is around on par with third on back for times, not on par with the leaders for his class.
2 seconds slower than the guys he was racing with. You might have been on to something there, Justin, when you talked about maybe some damage that had to be fixed. Fahim comes out in third. I hate it when the drivers make me look wrong. I thought Fahim would be able to get out in front. I like the strategy, did not like the execution.
You know, in the MX-5s, Losper has really started to run away from Sonny Canch. Kane Lasky sits between them, Soup. And again, Losper seems to be dropping Kanchin right now.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. I think this is Sonny having some fun right now. Remember the golfer Michelle Wee? Anybody know the golfer?
Yes.
She was a really good female golfer, a young girl, and her dad put her in to play golf against the men to give her some competition. I think that's what Sonny's doing right now. I think he's happy. He dominates the MX-5s when on a level playing field. I think he's excited. I think he's looking forward to running down all those Skippies and maybe winning this overall.
One thing to note, though, in the SRFs, we were talking about David Sanchez, who was up in the front classing for that. He had trouble on his lap number 13. He is now done for the day after he lost it in his corners. That is a round, I believe, 13 and 14 when he had lost control. We're going to see that replay now on your screen. As you see here, he is on his own in his grouping before he went in and lost control. He is down this straightaway trying to pick up speed. Sharp left and right turn. And then you see the bobble right on there, skidding through the grass, way off the course. And that ended off his day, just like that.
His bad news is good news for Angelo Fiorino now, who moves up into third in class. Racing 19th overall. Attrition, big factor there in the SRFs today.
Yeah, it really has been. Boy, they've been hit hard with the attrition bug. Sanchez sitting in there, of course, been in there for a little bit. Who else? David Gaspers had that trouble at the very, very beginning. Tim Seidel now in the pits. This is his third stop. So, yeah, almost half of that field struggling. But C Love's not struggling, buddy. C is up there and running in 15th overall, first in class. Having a good old time. Got Jason Perry well off in his mirror and Cameron Gridley in between him.
Well, Cameron Gridley, though, he just hit the wall, and I think he might be done.
Poor guy. Oh, he noses it in. The Armco barrier does not end well. Ouch. It took the whole front clip off, and I think he takes a tow.
Sean, how much have you talked about Cameron Gridley today? You talk about him. First thing you do, put him in the wall, man.
Yeah he did not take the tow. He's getting her around. Sure to come into the pits, though. A lot of damage on the front of that machine.
Yeah, by the way that looked there, it seemed like it was just a little bit of oversteer, possibly out of that left turn, and just it turned itself around. As you're seeing Jason Perry now on your screen, he's still in second in his class. He almost ended up having trouble because you seen there he was in the driving line. Gridley was, I should say.
You know, Sean, those drivers and Justin, they complain to us. You know, GSRC never puts us on. We never get any screen time. We're doing you a favor, man.
All right, Soup. Now, hey, listen. The SRF battles are not done because a big report here. Jason Perry, a full second faster than C Love on that last lap there. Maybe got a little something in here. C Love only 3.1 seconds ahead. He can do this if he just stays focused. It's a battle of the UK and I there in the SRFs.
Yeah, now,
go ahead.
I was going to say, trying to widen the gap. Love trying to close up that gap, Perry, because you mentioned now with the most recent times coming in, 2 minutes, 50 seconds, and 0.4 of a second for Perry, a 2:51 flat for Love. So basically closing his way in. It's about a 3.3 second gap right now between those two drivers. But from what you're seeing right now on your screen, Love's getting a better exit off these corners. Perry is able to close it in, though, with terms of how he's been driving in terms of technique. Sometimes it's skill, sometimes, though, it's racecraft, guys, as you see your position battle in the skippies.
Yeah, Menekov taking that position away from Rob Adams. Menekov getting by up to fourth.
And Menekov once again using the slingshot from these straightaways and able to move himself into the fourth spot just off the podium at this point.
Bad news for Menekov is it's another 16 seconds before he gets up to Antoniadis. Now Antoniadis has got to get going here. His time's running out. He's fallen back. He's still 3.5 seconds behind the two cars up in front that are just doing their dance. Why don't we go there right now? This is not as exciting as it may look. It's a little two-car waltz going on, and moving out in front, doing the slingshot is Kanta. Whidden drops back into second.
Yeah, we're going to run through your field right now in this point for your grid. Let's go to the top 5 first with your Skip Barbers. As in the lead right now for the Skip Barbers, Enzo Kanta leads the way in a close battle with Luke Whidden. As those two continue to look and try and trade spots, Kanta, though, has settled in with the lead, leading 7 laps. Whidden has led 4. Fahim Antoniadis is in 3rd spot. He is about 3.6 seconds back of that battle for position. Then you have to jump 17 seconds away to Neil Menekov, who is in 4th spot for the Skip Barbers. Rob Adams, who just fell to 5th spot, is right on behind him. As that battle continues to heat up, guys, let's go to your MX-5s.
You got Richard Losper, who just made his way around the lap car of Dries Nice. Don't be confused. He's not in the mix here, and that's also Kane Lasky behind him in that Skippy. So what is the interval between Losper back to the man who's chasing him down? I think it's Sonny Katchen, who's just like a cat playing with a mouse right now. Let's see if my timing and scoring can do this for me. Looks like that interval, about 2 seconds. Not sure what Katchen is up to as he races second. He's got himself a really big gap. It's about 10 seconds back to Jeroen Ursum, 3rd in class. He's racing 11th overall out there in my little Jakey machine. But right behind him, no buffer between him, and that is the car of Adam Grant. I believe that's who we got. Yep, Adam Grant racing in 12th. And then we got to go all the way back to find our next driver. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is he still out there? Oh, it's Drees Nice. Several laps down. Racing, what would that be overall? Racing 21st, overall 5th in class. Okay, Sean, your group might be a little more fun.
You know what? It's heating up. C Love still hanging on to this lead. I think he's hanging on to it barely, though, because Jason Perry continues to make up ground. He sits there in second, and now just over 2 seconds. It's closing, and it's closing time. And did Jason Rosenthal's, I think, just had trouble on track, guys. Rosenthal's with an off there.
Yeah, I believe he actually is off the track itself, just absolutely vanished from the circuit. All right. Still being recorded 17th as we go back to you, Sean.
All right, I'll continue on with the SRFs then. Okay, so we were at Jason Perry, who is second in class right now. Angelo Fiorino sits third in class right now. And Angelo, the driver from New Jersey, having a decent run here in the SRFs. He's hanging on to that third spot, and you know what? I think he's good because he's 28.6 seconds ahead of fourth and Jeffrey Gambrell. Gambrell holding down fourth place, and fifth is Tim Seidel. He's the last SRF on the track. He's a few laps down, but Tim out there still slugging it away, and he sits there in fifth overall in the SRFs, guys.
Sean, if Angelo Fiorino's not going to be from Italy, New Jersey is the next best place. Yeah,
absolutely.
You see Seidel though bobbing a little bit there. Two things to note. Rosenthal's had a connection issue. That is now the third driver with a similar situation. And by the way, with the Skip Barbers, guess who's back in the lead? Luke Whitten, as that lead has continued to go back and forth with about 13 minutes to go. The lead has been changing every single lap, it seems, for that class with the tow they've been using down this circuit.
It's whoever is in front out of 15 is in bad shape. The pass will be made out of Blanchimont heading down into the chicane. It'll be finalized there, and then they'll slug it out to the drag race to the finish line. I want to be in second if I'm those guys.
All right, Angelo Fiorino right here in the middle of this battle here at the front for the SRFs. Fiorino swings it a little bit wide. That's all right, though. Canta gets by, no problem. Going to fight now down into the chicane here. Soup, I think you're going to have about 5 laps left to go. My timing and scoring telling me that's what we might be looking at here. Whitten going to come across the leader. It's all about that pit stop for Whitten, Soup.
Yeah, he's there now. He's put himself in the position, both Whitten and Cannon, to drop the other guy. A 2-car battle is a lot easier to figure out. It's a game of checkers compared to a game of chess if you had Antoniadis in there as well. So at least Whitten and Cannon only have to worry about each other.
Yeah, they do at this point because they've spread out from third spot for their class and Antoniadis by about 3 seconds as they approach these nice 2 bends. And maybe 4 cars or some drivers might be playing 3D chess, possibly planning things out for these final minutes here as we are about 11 minutes to go here in this action.
Boys and girls, that battle in the SRFs is heating up. Here comes Jason Perry.
Yeah, that's a definite feat because Jason Perry had fallen back by a few seconds to C Love. And because of Perry, as you mentioned with the lap times, still running about 0.8 of a second faster per lap, he's closed up this gap in fast.
Oh boy, Whitten almost loses it back here, guys. Sorry. A battle for the lead. Whitten was sliding all over the place, and Canta gets by.
We're going to go to your replay right here as we're going to see this here. Yeah, you see very close between those two as we see from above them towards the corner and just losing it on the corner.
It was actually, Canta that was the one that was sliding. My bad there. I got the black cars mixed up, but Canta still hangs on to take the position from Whitten.
I'll help you with those colors, Sean. That's okay.
Yeah, thanks, Soup. I appreciate you having my back there, buddy.
But I'll tell you who's coming. Fahim is on the roll now. That little mistake, he's knocked off about 0.8 of a second, 2.2.
Possibly might need just one more mistake from that top two for his class to move back into it. Meanwhile, speaking of moving back into it, let's move back to that battle for the SRS because it's down to 0.2 of a second.
Yeah, Perry has caught him. Caught him in a good spot here, too. Coming up the Camel Straight here, Justin.
Going to work down that Camel Straight using that drag in pull once again. Going down underneath some of the bridges alongside the trees, still at about the same distance, not getting enough pull. Perry does have that slight damage from hitting the wall earlier, as he is still behind him by now 0.3 of a second. Love does have the slightly faster straightaways, but it has been the better racecraft / technical corners for him that has gotten things around.
Yeah, Perry probably struggling with that car a little bit because of that damage, but man, he's wheeling it, baby. I'll tell you what, Perry got command of this machine now. Certainly when he needs it here in the closing minutes of the race. We're under 10 to go. And Perry not going to give up on this battle here. Love got all the pressure on him now.
Perry might be able to get the thing done. The problem is, I don't know if that car is going to be able to keep it, because I think Love is just going to gobble him up on the straight line speed.
Yeah, we're going to see how this battle continues to unfold as that continues to heat up on your screen at the moment. Perry trying to poke his nose towards the left side, goes right back behind Love. They're still about 0.2 of a second in terms of their gap going through the S's as they continue to battle right on your screen.
Hey, everybody. Steve Ray is watching this at work, so shh, okay?
Sounds nice.
I know he'd rather be here, but yeah, he's got to work tonight, so.
Well, sometimes enjoying races such as this on the GSRC it's so enjoyable as you continue to see this action unfold for tonight's race. As you continue to watch that battle on your screen. Of note, Luke Whitten has gapped out Enzo Canza with the Skip Barbers by now 0.8 of a second. It was as much as 1.3 seconds. As now we got something going on with Richard Losper and Kane Lasky.
Well, Losper is trying to stay ahead of Sonny Ketchen. I'm not sure what Ketchen is up to. I keep waiting for Sonny to be the cat and finally put the mouse out of its misery. But Losper is up there. He is outpacing Ketchen right now.
Yeah, they don't understand this in the chat either. A lot of people showed up expecting to see Ketchen just throttling this field right now, and Losper's having a great drive here. Been able to keep Lasky behind him. Lasky been awful pesky. But so far so good for Losper, and he's got that blocker out there in front of him. Dree's nice, clearing the way for him.
We're going to need triple screens here to cover all the action. We have a battle in the Skippies, a battle in the MX-5s, and a battles in the SRFs. In fact, let's go to that right now. They are side by side. The SRF battle, Perry is going to get it down going into Lacombe's.
And once again, that straightaway a great spot to set up passes. Once again, it is Jason Perry this time able to make that move. Able to get in front, and he's going to try and space it out a little bit in front of C. Love. It's going to be the question of, can Perry hang on to that lead? 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the inaugural race of the QRS Sports Car Challenge Series presented by Ashbury Motorsports.
Surprised to see Perry able to make that pass there, because this is his strong point right here. If he can start to get some distance through this technical section, maybe he might be able to leave Love behind. If he can get far enough ahead through the twisty parts, too far for Love to suck back up on him.
You know, I left Love behind about 20 years ago, Soup. But anyway.
Yeah, Canza, meanwhile, I think he's going to try and leave by Whitten and focus away from your love life and go towards Canza, as Canza's back in the lead for the Skip Barbers, as he is going to work his way through Lacombe's once again, able to get himself back out in front. There's a reason these two have been going back and forth, back and forth. It's going to come down to, I think, who's able to keep out in front of the other driver, as Canza's struggling through that turn a little bit.
Oh, fight. They're going to keep fighting, and Fahim Antonitis is going to keep digging here because he is really, really starting to close in on him now. Just 2.5 seconds back, guys.
And all the action heating up because we're going to go to Soup because he has something with the MX-5s because Richard Losper has closed it to 0.3 of a second.
The catching is coming. Sonny, catch me if you catch, and says, let me get out in front so I can live up to my nickname. But that's Drees Nice in the way. Sonny looking for somewhere to go. When you put it through the middle, is he going to try to outbrake him? Do a little white rabbit braking here. I'm late to an important break. Nope, he's going to drop in behind Drees Nice.
And not just to note, Drees Nice is a lap down after having a connection issue at the early part of the race, as that's going to be a little bit of a buffer for the next couple of minutes for him. Sonny Kenshin just going to have to wait for the perfect timing once again to position for the pass once again to get by the lap car in Nice and get himself behind for the battle with Losper, as this has gone from a 1.9 second gap between Losper and Ketchen to now, as you're seeing on your screen, 0.4 of a second.
And he got there awfully quick too. It's like kind of like, okay, time to come.
Well,
all right.
Sorry, Sean.
Let's go to the SRFs here.
Yeah, well, that's Witten is really on it now. They're going to come across the line with 2 to go. 2 to go here, Soup. Fahim Antonitis back there in third. He's trying, but I don't know if he's going to have enough to catch him.
Love gets the pass made in those little Spec Racer Fords. He's up in front now, racing 14th overall, first in class. Losper is being tailed. Let's go there, boy. Excitement everywhere. Oh, that's Drees Nice. No, I apologize. That's Nice getting in there. It's not nice to have Nice in there. Get out of there. Drees, you're left down. You're bugging me.
This is why we can't have nice things, Soup.
No.
Oh, my goodness.
Bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, action continuing here around the track. Luke Whitten, by the way, now on your screen, on the outside, getting towards Lacombe, getting the pass down the Camel Straight once again. And now he's out in front. Just 3 minutes to go.
And Perry just passes C Love again. They're going back and forth here now.
Come on, director, stay with us, baby.
And this is why I have triple monitors. Well, partially why I have triple monitors, as you have a bunch of battles going on across the track, everyone saying it's time for money time. Drivers such as this show up at this time, of course, as this continues to heat up with a battle. Losper and Kenshin down to 0.3 of a second, as they have let Nice on by. Losper going to have to try and keep Kenshin in front.
Yeah, Nice really pulling away. Not sure what's going on here. At this... Sean and Justin, it makes no sense to me. All of a sudden, Nice has the pace. Losper now racing second in line, catching behind him.
Well, Losper did say through the radio about a lap ago that he let Nice on by, or someone on by, which turns out to be Nice. As now Kenshin, that helps out a bit for him. He's still going to have to try and work on that pole. About 0.5 of a second now, falling back a little bit down that straightaway. As everyone else getting towards the intense battle. Still a 0.4 of a second gap between Whitten and Kanta, and about now a 1 second gap between Perry and C Love.
Here's your trifecta: Whitten, Canton, and Perry. Get to the betting window. Put them down. And here comes right now Canton looking to get around Whitten right now. Here comes Canton.
Battle to the death into the chicane.
Now, it might not, if you can get alongside, it's like, oh boy! Woo, that was Whitten had the car really loose.
He flipped his tail out there, didn't he?
Is that the white flag now? Is that where we're getting it with a minute and 15 here?
Yeah,
okay.
I believe so. In fact, it is, because it does take about 2 minutes and 50 seconds to get around. There's 1 minute and 8 seconds on the clock, so it's go time. Everyone's got to head to their best possible opportunities as they set things up. On the white flag lap, it's Luke Whitten leading in the Skip Barbers over Enza Kanta as they head towards that Camel Straight. Richard Losper and Sonny Kenshin battle in your MX-5s. And in your SRFs, it's Jason Perry and C Love. Multiple battles around the track. We're sticking with the Skip Barbers. As moving to the left side, Kanta using that toe on the Camel Straight. Able to zoom on by Whitten as he's going to move for the pass as they approach Lacombe. Going into that tight braking zone for the quick right, the quick left. As you see right behind still Whitten trying to keep up with the pace. Going for a bit of a faster exit that time, exiting the section of Lacombe.
Guys in the MX-5s, Losper comes around, takes the white flag. Still holding off Sonny Catchin. Still holding them off out of the source.
And just as you were mentioning that, we have a position change with the Skip Barbers because Whitten able to get by Kanta because Kanta made a mistake and went wide. While in the SRFs, Jason Perry still in the lead for that class by 1.8 seconds.
Yeah, I think Perry's got that covered up now in the SRFs. Whitten still hanging on up here, though, in the Skippies.
I think he called it. I think Perry's got that one covered up.
Hold on one second. Whitten going for a slide job as the leader, having to hang on and hit Skip Barber. Still in the lead now.
That's all you, Justin. Stay on it, baby.
As Whitten continues to work his way through the corners, going towards turn 16. And it's going to be a bit of a long straightaway through Blanchemont, as this is going to approach that final chicane section. The battle continuing to heat up, the toe working for Enzo Kanta, as this could come down to the final corner for the Skip Barbers. And Kanta gets on the right side, makes the pass, going towards the bend, coming to the chicane for the final corners. And here we go, going into the tight chicane. Kanta gets the good spot. Whitten trying to find any chance to get on by. He's going to go down the straightaway. But it's going to be Enzo Kanta staying out in front and coming away with the victory in the Skip Barbers.
In the MX-5, Sean, no surprise. Kanchin just kind of sat back there, has made the move now. Let's see if Losper's close enough, though. They got Dries nice in front of him. You got it, Justin.
And now looking at your screen, Sonny Kenshin was able to work as by Richard Losper. Losper looking to try and close up the gap as Kenshin had fallen back at 1 point by 1.9 seconds. Now approaching the final chicanes, he is back on the lead by 0.3 of a second. Richard Losper reminding everyone it's the last lap, but he is just going to have to try and focus on trying to get the pass as they approach the final chicanes. And look at this, Richard Losper able to move on by Kenshin with an early break, able to get in the better position into the chicanes. Bump as Sonny Kenshin goes around. Richard Losper takes the lead in the final corner, and he's going to come away with the victory in the MX-5s. And a quick apology already immediately from Richard Losper from that, as that's going to be a big victory. Jason Perry, though, leading in your Skip Barbers by now 3.1 seconds.
I think C-Love just kind of used that SRF up just a bit. He spent so much time up there in the lead, so much time defending that charge from Jason Perry. Just don't think he has anything left. And as we said a few minutes ago, looks like Perry's got it covered up. He's going to make his way around the backside one more time out of Paul Friere and now down into Blanchemont. His spidey senses are tingling. Not mine. Mine are done and off for this race. Jason Perry, though, he is always loved seeing that car. He's having a blast today, though.
And he's going to have a blast indeed, as he is in the perfect spot and in fact the great spot to come away with the first victory of the season for the Spec Racer Fords. Just has to make it to the final chicanes as Spider-Man's going to swing his way onto the podium and into victory lane. Jason Perry wins the SRF class for the inaugural race of the QRS Sports Car Challenge Series. And this is just an exciting finish for sure to this one. We're going to go to commercial break and regroup and get you your full results for this exciting finish for this first event. You're watching the QRS Sports Car Challenge Series presented by Ashbury Motorsports on GSRC. And welcome back, everyone, to GSRC's coverage for post-race for the QRS Sports Car Challenge Series, presented by Ashbury Motorsports, as we're going to go straight to your replay for one of the most exciting finishes for the start of a season I think I've ever seen for the MX-5s. That involves Sonny Kenshin and Richard Losper. You're seeing that replay now on your screen, guys. He just noted that he ran out of fuel. He put in 11.7 liters, and he ran out right in that final turn.
And Sean, that explains why we thought Kenshin was a cat playing with the mouse. He was a cat trying to hang on to fuel. Look at that, and there he gets turned.
And it burped in the worst spot imaginable right there. It's the only thing that could explain his lack of momentum there as he tried to carry it through the turn. That's going
to make Losper feel a lot better after of turning him there. His car just didn't go in front of him.
It also might explain how he had a half a second faster pit stop when he went and got the fuel, as you're seeing this replay one more time. Running out of fuel with that slide job. There's the bump, and there's the position for the victory. As we are now going to go to your results here for today's event. Let's go 10 at a time, shall we, for your QRS Sports Car Challenge Series. Enzo Kenta able to come away with the victory for the Skip Barbers, followed by Luke Whitten in second spot. Fahim Antonitis came away with the third spot. Daniel Menenkov finished fourth. Rob Adams rounded out your top five after starting 10th on the grid. Jared Irvine in sixth. The first driver for the MX-5s was Richard Losper for today's race, while Kane Lasky finished in between him and Sonny Kenshin. Rounding out the top 10, Jerome Ursum.
Okay, in 11th, Michael Wright. And then we've got Adam. I'm sorry, I lost my place there real quickly. Adam Broughton Grant. Rolf Just is going to finish 13th overall. Jason Perry will win the SRF class, 14th overall. C Love right behind him. Those two really battled strong today. 15th overall there for C Love. Gary Wolbolt going to finish 16th overall, 10th in his class. Angelo Fiorino will finish 17th, third in the SRFs. Trees Nice going to finish 18th, 19th going to be Cameron Gridley, and 20th is going to be Jeffrey Gambrell, and he finished fourth in class in the Spec Racer Fords, boys.
Hitting blackjack in an SRF is Tim Seidel. Jason Rosenthal going to finish 21st overall. I guess am I in the right spot there? Let's see if I am here. 22nd, that is Jason Rosenthal. David Sanchez had the SRF lead for a while and had to give it up when he had some incidents. Marcelo Pajan also ran into some problems, as did another SRF leader, David Gaspers.
And with that, friends, we're going to go to now your post-race interviews, starting off with Enzo Kenta. Drag them into your suede couches. There we go, shall we? Enzo Kenta, can you hear us?
Yeah. I can hear you. Hi, guys.
How are you feeling after coming away with the victory for today's race and what was an intense battle between you and the rest of the top three in the Skip Barbers?
Oh, yes, I'm very happy. I was with my two teammates, Luke and Fahim. I know them very well. They are my friends, and I knew the race could be very hard because they are both strong and fast. And my strategy was I was hoping to undercutting the pit in order to leave Fahim out of the draft, because I think he had a better pace. We do this job. Luke tried to go away, but I wasn't sure I put the right amount of fuel, so I wait for another second, and then I exit the pits 2 seconds rear Luke. So I had to work and drive hard to close the gap. I did it, and then I think we tried to work together, each other, to keep Fahim away or out of our draft. But we had some fun battling between the corners. And that last lap, I did an incredible mistake. I was almost dying in the last lap, and I did the last pass in the last lap. I go off track, so I went off track. So I'm not so happy because in that point you could be into the track, and so that pass was not so good in my opinion. But I win the race, and I could fail the last break, but I did it well at the bus stop. So I'm happy for the winning, as you can see my wiggle on the finish line.
And thank you very much for the time, because you just answered every single question we were going to ask. Congratulations on the win for the inaugural race for this series, Enzo.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was Enzo Canza once again coming away with a victory in the Skip Barbers for today. Bill Soupçon has our next man.
Okay, let's go ahead. Do I get to talk to Richard Losper? Is that who we got?
Yes, I believe we do.
Richard, did you know, I know Sonny's your teammate, did you know there was a fuel issue going on?
Yeah, he told me early on that he needed to save fuel and he didn't take enough fuel. And actually, he was burping at the very last corner there, and that's why we came together. I thought he had enough to just cross the line, and I was prepared to stay behind him, but then he burped, and I hit him. So I don't know. I may have to redress and give him the race.
Oh, I think if the guy runs out of fuel in front of you, I think you get a free punt on that one, Rich. You know, you both in your box for 11 seconds. Were you short on fuel?
No, I was not short on fuel. I took just enough. I probably would have made it sort of a quarter of the way around the track again, and I would have been out.
And Soup, Richard knows a little something about saving fuel. He's not a masher on that throttle, I'm thinking.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too, that maybe Sonny up there racing might have been burning a little. Richard was having a nice run back there in the back of the pack. We were watching you, though. You're having a good time just putting in nice, clean laps.
Yeah, that's true. And but, you know, heads off to Sonny. Sonny was way up ahead, and he decided to wait till we caught up so that the race could be more interesting for the MX-5s, because there were so few MX-5s in the race, something we hope to address in future races. And so really, you know, he won the race. I can't take that away from him.
No, if he wouldn't have slowed down, he would have burned more fuel. He would have run out sooner. This one is yours, baby. You enjoy it.
Thank you, Soup.
Richard Losper, the winner of the inaugural MX-5 class here in the SCCS series. Okay, where are we going?
Let's talk to Jeroen Ursum real quick. Jeroen, our old friend. Jeroen, not a bad day at the office, buddy. You're on the podium.
Yeah, and 10th overall.
Yeah, not a bad day, man. When was the last time you were on the podium?
On a broadcasted session? Well, this is my first.
Is it really?
Yeah. I've done some in the official series. I've won some, and I've got some podiums, but never broadcasted one. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about it.
Jeroen, tell me the truth. I bet you're almost more excited to have that 10th overall than the podium in the class.
Screw the podium.
Yeah.
I was very amazed that I was only 7 seconds behind Sonny Kenshin, but I just heard the interview with Richard that he was just slowing down to make it more interesting. So I'm a little bit bummed out.
What time is it over there in the Netherlands?
Oh, it's 1:30 at the moment.
That's not so bad.
No, it's not so bad. So I will just drop down in my bed and dream about this nice podium and top 10 finish.
Well, Soup, you know what? I'll tell you, I'm feeling pretty special right now that we get to celebrate Jeroen's first podium victory. I mean, I've known Jeroen now for almost over 4 years, and I feel like this is monumental. We've got to mark this down. This is going to go into the annals of GSRC Gold. Some of our favorite moments. This has definitely gone into my top 5, Soup.
I think it could be. I think it could be the My Little Jakey paint scheme. I think it's all had to do with Jake Sperry made it happen.
Oh,
yeah, I think it made it. Yeah, it made it more special. Yeah, I hope he's watching.
Oh, geez, don't make his head any bigger, please. He's going to take credit for this win now.
Yeah, I want to give many credits for to Steve. He's set up this entire league. I think he did a good job. It's a shame he couldn't be here.
Yeah, it is a shame that Steve couldn't be with us. That's Steve Ray, and our hats off to him for putting all this together, Steve. Well, Jeroen, hey, buddy, thanks a lot. Great run today. Congratulations on the podium. We'll see you next week, buddy.
Yeah, see you next week.
And
guys, it's all yours.
Yes, after that, I don't even know where to start after that. As we're just about set to go for the end of this broadcast, what are your final thoughts, guys, after this inaugural race?
Get one under the belt. We can only get better from here. I thought it was can't do much better than a battle in each one of the classes going into the final laps. We kept us busy.
You know what, Soup? It's exactly what I was going to say. Very, very busy, active race for 60 minutes. Remember, when we come back next week, it's only going to be 45 minutes. So they'll take on a little bit more of that sprint feel to it, cut it down by 15 minutes. And certainly will adjust how they pit. Strategy going to be a little bit more important next week, I think.
We're going to see how that goes for next week, but first we'd like to thank Steve Ray and everyone at the Quality Racing Sim-dicate for organizing this series and for contracting with GSRC for tonight's broadcast. We'd like to thank you for helping set up this series and what was an absolutely great show. We'd also like to say thanks to the software and hardware providers that we use for our broadcast that you see now on your screen. Also, thank you to our musical contributors and Eric Elcombe and Casey Long, whose music you can find at the website listed on your screen. Now, the QRS Sports Car Challenge Series is returning next week for round number 2 of the season on December 23rd. All 3 of your favorite classes will be making the trek to North America to the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action for that 45-minute race. We hope to see you all then. For more information about future races, you can see the list on your screen or go to globalsimracingchannel.com, where you can check out past broadcasts as well as see the future schedule. We're also on Twitter at GSRC Channel and Facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. For Dougie Beard, Joe Peak, Sean Ambrose, Bill Soupson, I'm Justin Prince, and I'd like to say race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.